Investigators working on the Penn State child sexual abuse scandal say red flags popped up when they found 3 years worth of records missing from Jerry Sandusky's Second Mile charity. Now we're learning more about those victims through their personal lawyers. Attorney Jeff Anderson specializes in child sexual abuse and has been retained by several people he says are Sandusky's abused. Also joining us is Bernstein, who has represented victims in the Reverend Eddie Long case, and like Jeff, has a long history representing Catholic Church abuse victims. It's nice to have you both here. Jeff, I want to start with you. Explain to all of us, are you representing certain victims of the 8 that were listed in the grand jury report that was returned?
I am, and we are representing survivors of abuse pertaining to the Penn State outrage, if you will. We're not identifying which and who we are because we want to protect them, and they want us to make sure we do. And they also want us to make sure we give voice and a volume to their fear that other kids are at risk, both by Sandusky and by the institutional failures that have been now revealed to us. And for that reason, we've not only been engaged, but exhorted to really speak up and out with and for them. They're furious, and they're scared that other kids are at risk.
Well, Jeff, as you know through your work in this, and I know BJ knows this too, there are lots of people around this country that go through sexual abuse as kids, and they suffer in silence for a long time until well into adulthood. But specifically about the victims that you're representing, how many are you actively representing?
Well, we're in contact with a number of survivors. I've been actively retained to speak on behalf of one in particular who said, give voice and volume to what we're feeling. And that is this. We are scared, we are furious, and we are confused that Sandusky is out and in denial, and thus a peril to others. We are fearful that other kids will continue to be ignored and or hurt unless more is done immediately and institutionally at Penn State and elsewhere. And for now, we need to have you speak with and for us. And that's why I'm here doing that with you today.
BJ, we have heard now 2 very different stories from Mike McQuarrie. First, he says he walked into the locker room seeing this abuse, left, spoke to his father, then spoke to Joe Paterno. Then we have this email, which now he's revealing to friends that he did have discussions with police and with the official at the university in charge of police. Police now are coming out denying all of this. So, BJ, how bad is he hurting his credibility with these stories that are going back and forth, especially when he is a key witness in seeing this case go forward?
Well, there's credibility right now in the public forum, but the truth is there's so much that we don't know that the investigators know. Remember that the grand jury indictment is an outline of this case, and as Jeff Anderson just said, he's in touch with these victims, and these victims have a lot to say, and probably McQuarrie does as well. Now, in an email to someone else he knows trying to protect himself after this outrage, we just have to hope that when it gets down to the time of court, when the time of truth where this really has to come out, he will be completely truthful about what he saw, what he did, and the fact that there's not necessarily a report. Remember that there are 2 people who are indicted with the university because they knew. One of them worked with the police department. So the fact that they don't have a, quote, paper report doesn't necessarily mean that somebody at that place, and that he may be telling the truth, that he did. And in fact, we know that the indictment alleges that through Paterno that information was given. So again, I know there's a lot here, but we have to stay focused on the long run, and these victims, bless them, they have to be patient with the process and know that it's not what's in the media, it's going to end up being what's in the courtroom, and that will control.
Very valid point. Attorneys Jeff Anderson and BJ Bernstein, great to see you both this morning. Thank you.